welcome to the Kingdom Lounge. I'm JJ.
And I'm Bethany. Welcome.
Today we were just gonna sit and chat and have a conversation about time management,
Oh,
managing
yeah.
your time, that tick, 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 tick clock that goes around every day. And
Or
so,
the beep on your on your on your digital space
yeah.
as well.
I have a clock here. I would love to know, how many clocks do you have in your house? Do you know, Bethany, in your house back in the
In
States?
my hello from Switzerland. This is my Swiss room. We call it the Africa room, which JJ will
Um,
appreciate being a South African.
We are in the same, though we're not even in the same time zone still.
Okay,
Never
well, we're
mind.
in similar time zones, but I will say I am in the country of time that is famous for amazing intricate watches and time mechanisms and things like that.
The
So,
Swiss watch.
and I will say this, trains in Germany are known for being on time, but trains in Switzerland are like precisely on time. If you show up 30 seconds after your train time on a Swiss platform, bye-bye.
Wow.
30 seconds. I mean, impeccably on time. So, this
Everybody
is
who lives in the United States would miss the train.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And don't worry, I've missed a train, but I have this like philosophy in life. I'm like, I have done it too many times. I refuse to run for a train. So if I miss the train, I'll find another train because I don't want to lose my breath just trying to get on the train. So anyway, I don't know how many clocks are in this house, but they're American, so
How many clocks can you see right now?
two,
Okay,
a
I
watch
literally
and a
have
phone.
like two phones and my watch and my computer.
Okay, computer. So I have three. I have an iPad over there. So that would be four in this room that I know
Mm.
about.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I know where you're going with this, JJ, because you want to say something about how is your time dictating your life, or are you like in control of your time?
Ooh, does
But
time
say it, but
control you, or are you controlling your time? And I think that's
that
where
one.
time management comes in. Like,
Yeah.
do we manage our time, or is it managing us? And most of us, I think, are managed by time. I think it dictates when we wake up, when we eat, when we go to work, when we come home, when we have quiet time. We, we have to make time for quiet time. When we go to sleep, like, everything is regulated by time, but most of the time, it's dictating when and where and how, which isn't a bad thing, I don't think. I just think sometimes it gets so in control.
Yeah.
We,
So
yeah.
here's the reality. We all have the same amount of time that we live in, but sometimes you look at someone's life and you're like, wow, they must have all the time in the world.
Hmm.
And sometimes you think, why does that person not have enough time to do that? But it's all about how we manage our time. I remember, I think it was Christine Kane. I don't remember what she said, but I remember her talking about this topic of like, yeah, we all have 24 hours in our day,
Yeah.
but what we do with it is up to us. Some people choose to sleep longer than others. Some people choose to work longer, eat more. I mean, whatever, however you're spending your time. So I guess today we just wanted to have a conversation about time and time management. Are you controlling your time or are you letting time control you? And what does that even mean?
Well, something I think we both could relate to, and maybe some people watching, is African time. And something that's interesting about African time is, so we have a cult, we are known as a culture, African time means it's late.
Yeah.
When it's on African time, if they say they're going to pick you up at 3 o'clock, it could be 5 o'clock and you still might not even know where they are. But the reason Africans do that, in especially like the African culture is because whatever they are presently doing is the most important thing to them. So
Mm.
that doesn't take away importance from you. So if I have an appointment with Bethany and I'm meeting her for lunch, but later on I am going to dinner with another friend, when I'm with Bethany, she is the most important person to me. So if our conversation goes longer, or she needs me for more time, or it's going good and we're enjoying it, that's where I'm going to just take all the time I need. And only when I'm finished here and I feel complete with this relationship will I move on to the next thing,
Mm.
which could be detrimental in a relationship, because now if I've spent all my time prioritizing Bethany, when I get to my next appointment with a person and I'm late, it looks like they are unimportant. Until in African culture, I'm with them. Now they become the most important priority. And so it's an interesting view on being present. And if we're judging it by the clock, it could look disrespectful. But if you flip it a little bit and you realize African time is to be so present where you currently are, it's completely respecting the present.
I think it's really fascinating because yeah, obviously you and I both spent time, you as a native South African and me as someone who's just spent time in the culture a lot. We do joke about African time, but what's really interesting is I remember growing up hearing my grandmother say, when you are late, you are saying to the other person, the thing I was doing before this was more important than this. So it's really interesting. It's the other side of the coin. And I think the challenge of like African time in that sense is though there's this beautiful value around being present where you are. And this is something that I really value in my own life. I mean, to be honest, right before I came on this call with you, I was having tea in the kitchen with my Swiss mom, and she's in the middle of telling me this hugely important story. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I've got 3 minutes, I've got 3 minutes, but I'm trying to be fully present. And I even had that thought in my mind of like, okay, I'm meeting with JJ to do this conversation. And right now in this moment, what's most important in these last 3 minutes or whatever is that I'm still engaged with her and I haven't like clocked out of the conversation yet. So there is this tension though in the middle of that space of saying like, this thing I'm doing is important, but when it does rub over into the next person's lane until they are the most important person, there's a tension of boundary and time and
Yeah.
um
Well,
as a challenge.
we've talked about it too, and it could roll into this, and I don't want to digress. But in us being addicted to productivity, is sometimes we've have you ever felt like, okay, so we all have 24 hours in a day, but have you ever felt some days are long and some days are short? Feel short. For me, and I feel like this is the general population, the days that feel long are days where nothing is happening.
Mhm.
Like, so when I am in South Africa, because of our culture, even when Bethany and I are together, we're sitting with our laptop on the beach, watching the people, having a cup of tea. The day just seemed that I'm
It's like
unaware of
long.
time is what happens.
Yeah.
When I'm unaware of
Yeah.
time, time seems to stretch. When we are
Yes.
running on a schedule and I've got to be at work at 8 o'clock, so I got to leave home by 7:30 so I can stop at the Starbucks and grab my to-go coffee, and then I got to clock in by 8 o'clock because I got a meeting at 8:15. All of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, where's the time gone? So
Yeah.
the thing, I've been so busy, time flies when not really when you're having fun, but when you're busy.
Yeah.
And so how do we find that balance where we are managing our time effectively, where we feel like we are getting the most out of the day without trying to do the most in our day?
Oh, that's a good question. How do you it's like how do you stretch time even when you have a lot going on? I think we've talked about this before, and I don't know if this is just I think I'm just wired this way, but it does help me be present and stay moving forward. Because I think sometimes in those long days, I guess it depends on what your focus is, but sometimes those long days for me, like I'm way more productive on a day where I have way more on my calendar. If I have a wide open day, because I work to pressure really well. So if I have a wide open day, I feel less of that pressure point to get things done, and so if you give me 3 full days to do something, I'm still gonna only do it in a very little period of time. Whereas give me something to do in a day that I'm really busy, I'm gonna knock it out. Um, but I think again, this is a conversation we've had years ago and have continued to have is the way I deal with time and time management is this way. I plan so that then I can be spontaneous. So I'll give you an example. I just arrived to Geneva 2 days ago. I'm here for 10 days, and then I'm heading to Greece and some other parts of the world to lead some teams and some projects where we were doing some humanitarian and mission work. But I didn't plan a ton of stuff in Geneva. My big plan was that I'm going to be in Geneva. Now, once I'm in Geneva, I know things are going to come up, but I may have planned a meeting with you, or I may have planned a spiritual direction session with someone. But then I leave the other time open to see what needs to happen in that, and naturally sometimes that space gets filled. And then sometimes I have to actually push the boundaries and be like, no, I got to protect this space. So for me, again, I'm going to lead these projects. I've scheduled to be in Geneva. I'm leading worship on Sunday. There's certain things that I'm doing, but then I know that my priority and my focus in this time is prepping to lead in Greece and making sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I'm not leading out of an empty cup when I go.
Mm.
Um, and this is just a specific example of now, but like being on the ministry field, like being in ministry mode now, um, is managing my time in a way that there's still open space. So like today I went for a walk between a bunch of meetings because I need to reset and recharge. And I know for me, I've just learned that I want to continue to build open space into the busyness of my schedule because in that open space is where I refuel and I recharge and I'm open to other things that may come my way.
No, I think that's brilliant. And I think that's something that you definitely specialize in, even with your coaching, is helping people create space because we don't know how to do that. So I'm a maximizer. Bethany is also a
Yeah.
maximizer. And so with those qualities, because they are great qualities, they can also be detrimental in the place like, so it's my default to stay busy. I want to take my day and product success is defined by productivity by my default. I have
Mm-hmm.
had to learn that success is not productivity and busyness is not productive. Therefore, I've had to learn, like Bethany's saying, to create space because sometimes, and we've talked about this too, sometimes our most productive place is being still or being quiet. So oftentimes I'm on the go, 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 clicking around on my laptop, staying busy, feeling like I got to get this done. Now, I don't work a job, so I'm having to create my own busyness.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel even more stressed to like get something done and feel like I've had a successful day but meantime, I'm probably clicking through waste of time. But the clicking makes me happy, or having my laptop open, or stuff around me happening. But
Yeah.
I've had to learn that sometimes I have to stop what I'm doing, get up, and I'll go sit on the couch and I'll just stare into space, or I'll close my
Mm-hmm.
eyes or whatever, and I'll recalibrate and reset to think, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? What is driving my busyness right now? Where do I need to refocus? And 30 minutes of sitting and taking time and space like that, I can come back to my work environment or whatever I'm busy working on my project and all of a sudden accomplish now in the next hour what I would have spent 8 hours in busy mode doing. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Which
a
is really
key to managing time.
well, it's the principle of Sabbath is really the idea that, you know, God created the earth and then on the seventh day he rested. And um just the fact that like we talked about this last time. Jesus is napping in the storm. Like if Jesus needs a nap, we got to figure out how to put rest into our rhythm as well and creating that space. It's So several years ago, I wrote my first book, and I remember when I was in the process of writing it, coming across a quote. I think it was by like Ralph Waldo Emerson or something. Sorry, it wasn't so much a quote; it was more like a practice that he had when he was writing. So when you hit writer's block, you have two choices. You can sit at your computer or sit at your on your piece of paper that you're writing and push through and just push through to the breakthrough. Or you can get up, change your scenery, do something else, and you get actually in doing that a full body reset. So it's a little bit like what you're saying. Okay, step away from your computer. Step away from all the craziness. Go for a walk. I went this afternoon, like I went for an hour walk in between a bunch of meetings I had. First of all, I'm in beautiful Switzerland and this is a path I like to walk when I'm here, but I went on a walk and I said, I'm not going to look at my phone and I'm not going to listen to any music. I'm just going to be present to this environment. And in so doing, I'm going to think what I'm thinking. I'm going to have conversations with God about some things. And I'm just going to like let myself be in this space. And then when I come back, I'm physically, mentally, spiritually refreshed from stepping away from the stuff and changing my perspective.
Yeah.
And I think there's something really important about that. So when we think about time management and our busy schedules, obviously people that are listening, we all come from different contexts. Some of us are busy mothers, some of us are, in the empty nester season, some of us are young singles with no children, whatever your context is, we are all way too busy. This is the culture we live in, our Western world. We're all way too busy. So how can you create those moments of reset, refresh, space in your day? Maybe it's like JJ, you go sit on your couch and you just look at something for a couple minutes. For me, mentally, I say this a lot. Like, I can't always do this. I'm not landlocked in Texas, but the ocean is far away, the Gulf. But sometimes I'm like, man, I just need to go stare at the ocean.
Mm.
That's my way of saying like, I just need to rest and look at something beautiful. So maybe for you, it's just finding something pretty to look at.
Yeah. And we live in immediate gratification society. So we
Mhm.
have been, what do you call it? Not brainwashed, but like
Conditioned.
conditioned. We've been
Yeah.
conditioned to think everything needs to happen now. It all needs to happen at once. And my sister was saying something to me the other day too, especially even with I've moved to the UK now and I've got married. And I'm 40, I just turned 41. But when you've waited to get married, waited to get married till you were 40. It's like all of a sudden now at 40, it's like, okay, I've got the husband of my dreams. I'm moving countries now. My ministry can take off. We can be a couple. We're going to have a family and we're going to be both have muchos amount of money somehow. And like, want all these dreams to all of a sudden come true at like a twist of an Oreo. Like it happens.
Yeah, like now.
And the truth is it doesn't all happen at once. And that's the beautiful journey of life. If it all happened at
Mhm.
once, what would life be made up of? So even if we look at the picture of creation, it made me think of it when you said earlier on the seventh day Jesus rested, but also on the first day, he did one thing. And then he looked at it and he said it was good.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
second day, he did another thing. And then he sat back and he looked at it and he said it was good. But we're like
that's
trying to
really good.
bust out the whole of creation within day one. And if a day is as 1,000 years, maybe it took him 7,000 years to make creation. I don't know. We weren't there. But in other words, stop trying to rush life. Stop trying to see everything manifest all at once. Whether you're looking for a miracle or you stepped into a new season, it's unrealistic and you're taking away the joy of being able to complete something, be present in it and reflect back to say, hey, I've completed that. It's good. I see how far I've come. I see what I've accomplished. And um, my husband said something too. He's repeated to me a couple times, but we use terminology to say you also in your day make some time for God. And the truth is you don't make
Mhm.
time for God. God made time. He's
Mhm.
already given you all the time. And so our job is to just see it for what it is and take that time. So we
And to
don't,
steward it. Yeah.
yeah, we don't take time for God or make time for God. He's already made the time. And so if you're looking
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
day to just squeeze in a little moment for God, or what, we got to flip our perspective and change it. And I think maybe we could just both share a couple keys of how do we manage time, or what are some good things that everyone can put into practice. But here's one, is if you want to learn to stretch time, do a plank for a minute and see how long a minute
Yeah.
actually is. Or go take a walk for 30 minutes and feel how long 30
Mhm.
minutes really is when you're out. Don't just take a stroll, like go take a good walk and you'll feel like I've been walking really hard, or a run, like it's only been 10 minutes. Um, or I've
Or
got,
go climb a bunch of mountains in Scotland. I mean, in England
yeah, I've got to
for 3
climb
days.
3
Whatever.
mountain peaks. Or I do a 10-minute ab video in the mornings or somewhere throughout the day. I try to put in, and I'm like, it's just 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes goes like this.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing my ab
Yeah.
workout, so if any of you guys want me, I can just WhatsApp you this video. If you want just a 10-minute ab video, and all of a sudden you'll have a new
I'll
respect
I'll
for,
take it.
okay, new respect for time. Like, wow, 10 minutes can actually be really long. And I think sometimes it
Yeah.
helps for us to reset time. And so I'm making a joke about it, but I'm actually being serious. Like, do some
Yeah.
things where time feels long and remind yourself how much time you
Mm.
actually have.
No, that's so good. And I think I just want to go back to something you pointed out, that I think when we talk about the work rest balance, which again could be another conversation that we could have here, is we think about creation story and the rest was only on the seventh day. But you're right. God stepped back and is like, this is good. And I think for me, that's a reminder from a practical standpoint of your question of like, what can you do in your day to day to manage your time? Take that walk, take that breath, go stop what you're doing and go make a cup of tea, make a cup of coffee. Don't be so focused on the busyness that you actually are unable to be present to other things in your life. Do something that you delight in. Do something you delight. I mean, you said, time passes when you're having fun. Well, yeah, that is true too, and when you're busy. But go do something you delight in, and with JJ's exercise, time's gonna fly. So there are things that you can do to just be more aware of how much time you're spending on something. I mean, on a practical level, if you struggle with being on social media too much, put a timer on your phone, on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, that says, hey, you have bypassed your time, and it's your choice whether you choose to ignore the warning or not, which I do all the time. But at least in that way, I'm going, oh my gosh, I've already spent, that much time on social media today. Whoa. So I think there's just like an awareness we can walk in life with, going, okay, where have I spent my time today? Have I just fiddled around on my computer to make myself feel productive? Am I overbooking myself? I will say one other practical thing that I've done in the last couple years is, I think at some point I'm a maximizer, as you said. I'm a mover, I'm a shaker, I am on the go a lot. But there have been seasons in my life where I'm like, you know what? I only have the capacity for one really big thing a day. And whether that's a spiritual direction session, or whether it's, a big pastoral conversation, whatever it is in kind of my workspace, like giving myself space to recognize that when I honor my capacity in something, I can be more present to it. So if I have 3 spiritual direction sessions back to back, you're just not going to get you're not going to get my full capacity. Whereas if I can say, okay, I've got this one thing, and then I'm building margin around the
Mhm.
rest of it, which again, that's another conversation we can have, because JJ and I like to talk as maximizers. We like to talk about margin because we need it,
Yeah.
and we all need margin.
So a couple other tips, and we could probably go back. Maybe AI can help us just find all the tips that we've put in here.
Yeah.
But one practical thing that's It's worked for me. Again, I know Bethany well, and it's not really her MO. But so if this is maybe you or something you've been desiring to do or feel like it could help you, I know my friend Tia, or our friend Tia, she's in California now. If you're listening to this, you can write in the comments maybe how this helped you, because she changed her MO with doing this, but is waking up early. And especially if you don't go to work, if you are a stay at home, if you work from home or your own schedule, or you don't work or whatever, it's easy to sleep in. And especially if you're a night owl, you're up late, you sleep late. And so if you're getting up 9 or 10 o'clock in the day, even if it's 8 or 9, there's so much valuable time. I have found, again, it's not for everybody, but I have found in the mornings, especially when I was single living alone, I would get up at 5:30 every day. And the nice thing was I didn't have to get up and get ready and rush off to work. I would get up, make a cup of coffee, and I'd go get out of bed and go sit in the living room. And it was my quiet time. If I got my laptop, I got my laptop. If I scrolled through Facebook, I scrolled through Facebook. Whatever. If I read a book, that time can be whatever you want it to be. But I mean, 5:30 to 9:30 is already half a day's work. And so
Mhm.
most of us are only becoming functional at 9:30. And so I think there's a lot of advantage to just, if you can discipline yourself to just start getting up early and start to appreciate that morning time, there's you gain so much more out of the 24 hours that we all get.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, JJ knows this. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl through and through. But one thing that I do is, regardless of where I am, my alarm clock goes off at the same time every day. And even now, I'm sort of 2 days into jet lag, and even in the middle of jet lag this time, I did some things this time. Last time I came here into Europe, I struggled with jet lag really, really, really bad. Like I was up in the middle of the night for 4 nights in a row. And this time I've been very intentional about setting a routine so that my body is going back into my own routine. So my clock goes off at a certain time every morning, and there's something in that as well. So whether you get up at 5:30 or whether your alarm clock goes off at 7:30 or 8 or whatever it is, there's something about the consistency that can help with the time management as well. And I think if you're
100%.
not a morning person and if you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to get up at 5:30." Okay, well, use the end of your evening as that open space, which I do a lot. So as a night owl, my open space is actually at the end of my evening. And so those are just some practical things,
Yeah,
from our
consistency and
side.
discipline. I think that's brilliant. And then I'll add one more and then we can close off this because we don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah.
Um, and these are for all my people pleasers out there. Let me hear a woo woo.
Woo, woo.
If you're a people pleaser,
Recovering people, please.
be okay to say no. So to Bethany, you said it earlier, but you're like, what did you say? Respect your capacity or honor your capacity, and
Yeah,
understanding what
yeah.
can you give and what can you not. It is not effective to be Clark Kent and Superman. And I say that because
Mhm.
I have been that person. I will say yes to everything and I will jump from party to party. I'll run to the phone booth and change into my Superman outfit and then I'll change back into Clark Kent. And it is draining, it is exhausting, and you are not fully yourself in any of the capacities you're trying to give yourself. So be comfortable in saying no because you honor your capacity. And you could sometimes you have to say no to your kids. Sometimes you have to say no to your spouse or to family or to friends or to work. And if you can find the strength to do that, it will help you, I think, really just become a better version of yourself. You become your best to your kids, to your spouse, to your family, to your work. Um, if you're able to, yeah, I love that. Honor your capacity.
Yeah. I think I'll just say one thing added to that is, if you're a yes person, if you're the kind of person that people come to because you say yes all the time, I challenge you to go into a season of being a no person. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm not trying to say become the person and they're like, they're never going to say yes or whatever. But somebody said to me one time, when you say yes to something, it's a lot harder to then go say no when you realize that that's not a yes you should have said. But if you say no, or even better yet, if you say, hey, let me take some time before I give you an answer, that's actually the wisdom of how to move forward and being a yeah, and in order to move forward and how you are discerning the things to say yes to is give yourself that space. Or if you need to, because I went through this where I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to say no to everything with the caveat of right now I need to say no. It may be yes, give me a couple days. And that changed the way that I was working with my boundaries. And I'm still working on it, because I think we all want to, well, that's a whole nother topic. I won't go down that road. But the point is just what JJ was saying, like honor your own capacity. And
Yeah.
sometimes that looks like saying no to things um, before you say yes to everything.
Yeah. So take time, because you don't have to make time. He has already made it. You just need to take it, take
Amen.
time, manage it, and honor your capacity.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll see you guys
Cool.
next time.
We'll see you next week, hopefully, from England and still Switzerland,
Cool.
God willing. Okay.
Peace.
See you then. Bye.